Hello everyone. Today we are going to take a look at another horrible case. With you in today's case, a man dies, but there's a twist in the story. The person who was supposed to be killed actually survives, and the one who died turns out to be the murderer. All of this might seem a bit confusing at first, but as we move forward in the video, every question will become clear. This story begins in the Indian state of Karnataka. A family used to live there. The head of the family was named Naveen Kumar, and he was married to a woman named Anupallavi. By 2022, Naveen and Anupallavi had 2 children. Naveen was a simple and honest man who deeply loved his family. For him, the 2 most important things in the world were his work and his family, and he especially loved his wife Anupallavi very much. Naveen just wanted his family to live a happy and prosperous life. In short, Naveen Kumar was a proper family man, and he didn't do anything that could bring trouble to him or his family in the future. In fact, Naveen owned a small flour mill shop, but the business wasn't successful enough for him to save a lot of money for the future. That's why he also used his personal car as a taxi in the evenings. Because of doing 2 jobs, his family's financial situation had become much more stable. As a result, Naveen was able to provide a good education for his children, and he fulfilled every wish of his beloved wife Anupallavi. However, then came July 23rd, 2022. Naveen, like every other day, took his car and first went to his shop, where he worked the entire day. After closing his shop at 8 p.m., he headed to the taxi stand. Meanwhile, at home, Anupallavi and their 2 children were waiting for Naveen to return. But tonight Naveen was later than usual, and he didn't come home. Anupallavi kept calling him repeatedly, but Naveen didn't answer a single call. Seeing all this, Anupallavi became increasingly worried, so she started calling a few people she knew to express her concern, but no one had any information about Naveen. Now, before they knew it, the entire night passed, and July 24th began. But just as quickly, the day of July 24th also went by, and Naveen did not come home. At this point, Anupallavi was trying on her own to search for her husband, but before they knew it, more than a week had passed since Naveen went missing. Surprisingly, during all this time, Anupallavi hadn't filed a missing persons complaint at the police. Naveen's sister-in-law's house was not far from his home, and once or twice a week she would usually call her brother Naveen. But this time, when she tried calling him, he didn't answer. So on August 2nd, she called her sister-in-law Anupallavi and asked about her brother. This is when Anupallavi told her the whole story and revealed that Naveen hadn't been home since July 23rd. Hearing this, Naveen's sister was shocked, and she immediately went to her brother's house. There, Anupallavi explained, "I've looked everywhere for Naveen. I've called him several times and talked to the neighbors. I even called some of his friends, but no one knows anything about him." So on August 2nd, Naveen's sister and his wife Anupallavi went to Pina police station and filed a missing report for Naveen Kumar. After filing the missing complaint, the police began searching for him as well. They even circulated Naveen's details to the nearby police station. Now on August 2nd, a complaint about Naveen's disappearance was filed, and in the blink of an eye, 4 days past the date, was now August 6, 2022, and in the evening the missing Naveen suddenly appeared outside his house. At that time, some relatives, along with Naveen's sister and wife, were at the house. So when everyone saw Naveen standing outside the house, their faces were filled with both surprise and joy. Naveen's sister rushed over to him, hugged him, and tears of happiness streamed down her face. At the same time, Anupallavi was the most shocked to see Naveen outside the house. It seemed like she thinks her husband might be dead, and seeing him couldn't believe he was alive. After Naveen returned home, everyone was overjoyed. One of the relatives then mentioned that they had filed a missing persons report for Naveen at the police station a few days ago, and since Naveen was now back, they should inform the police. After this, some relatives went to the police station and told the police officers everything. Police, upon hearing the news, were very eager to find out where Naveen had been for the past 14 days. This led to some officers visiting Naveen's house to question him. They asked, "Where were you all these days, and why didn't you contact your family?" Hearing this, Naveen became a bit emotional and began to tell the story of the last 14 days of his life. Actually, on July 23rd, when Naveen went to drive his taxi, in the evening 3 people approached him at the taxi stand. They needed to go somewhere, so they got into Naveen's taxi. However, they didn't give Naveen an exact location. They just told him, "We'll guide you to our destination. Just keep driving." It was getting late, and traffic had decreased. This made Naveen feel a bit uneasy. So he stopped the car and told the three passengers, "I can't go any further." Upon hearing this, the three men pulled out knives and threatened, "We'll kill you." They then forced Naveen at knife point to drive to a deserted place. There wasn't a single person around to ask for help, and seeing the situation, Naveen realized that these men were planning to kill him. Naveen asked them, "What do you want to do with me?" In response, they said, "We are contract killers, and we've been hired to kill you today, so we have no choice but to end your life." Hearing this, Naveen said, "I don't have any enemies. I've never been in a fight with anyone. I'm a poor man who works hard to make money, and that's how I support my family." But in response, the three killers say, "You must have a grudge against someone. That's why we were paid to kill you." After this, Naveen thinks for a few seconds, and then in a completely calm manner says, "If you've been paid to kill me, then go ahead, but I just want to know who paid you to kill me. If you tell me the name of that person, I'll be ready to die peacefully without any worry." Naveen was saying all this in a calm and composed manner, with complete innocence. Now the surprising thing is that after hearing Naveen's innocent words, even the three contract killers start feeling sympathy for him. After a few minutes of thinking, the three killers break their rule and reveal the name of the person who hired them. The hitmen say, "It was your own wife and her boyfriend who paid us to kill you." Upon hearing this, Naveen couldn't believe it at all. He told the killers several times, "I don't believe you must be lying." But after that, the killers showed him a WhatsApp chat they had with Anupalavi and her boyfriend. Seeing this, Naveen felt the ground slip from beneath his feet, as he couldn't believe that the person he loved the most would hire someone to have him killed. Now knowing the truth, Naveen tells the hitman, "Now, as I know this truth, I don't want to live anymore, because if you don't, I'll end my life myself." Now after hearing this, even the contract killers felt pretty bad, and so they decided that they would no longer kill Naveen. In fact, Naveen's wife Anupalavi was having an extramarital affair with a man named Himavant Kumar. This affair began one day when Himavant came to Naveen's house for some work. That was the first day Anupalavi spoke to Himavant, and after that day Himavant visited Naveen's house again. However, this time Naveen wasn't home, and Anupalavi and Himavant had a long conversation alone. During that meeting, they exchanged their numbers, and soon they were talking behind Naveen's back every day. And whenever Naveen wasn't home, Himavant would visit Anupalavi at her house. By now they had fallen in love with each other, and things had progressed to the point where they wanted to get married. However, Anupalavi felt that Naveen loved her too much and would never agree to a divorce under any circumstances, so Anupalavi and Himavant made a plan. If they wanted to be together, they would have to get Naveen out of the way. The shocking part was that the wife Naveen loved so much was now planning his death, but the problem they faced was how they would kill Naveen, since neither of them was a professional killer. This is when Anupalavi got the idea to hire contract killers to murder Naveen. She discussed the idea with Himavant, and he really liked it. This is why he starts looking for contract killers and searches for quite some time. Then one day, he meets three contract killers named Nagaraja, Harish, and Mugalan. However, this was the trio's first contract killing deal, which is why they agreed to kill Naveen for a very low price. But here Himavant tells the three killers that after killing Naveen, they need to hide his body in a place where no one can find it. Additionally, Himavant and Anupalavi also demanded that after killing Naveen, they should send them a picture of the body via WhatsApp. The three killers agreed to both conditions, and the deal was finalized for 200,000 rupees, which converts to around $2,394 US dollars. As security, Anupalavi and Himavant had to pay 90,000 rupees, or roughly $1,070, to the killers in advance. Nagaraja, Harish, and Mugalan then started following Naveen's routine. Moreover, Anupalavi had already provided the killers with almost all the information about Naveen. After thoroughly understanding his routine, they decided to kill Naveen on July 23rd. On that day, Naveen left his house in the morning to work at his flour mill, and in the evening, after closing his shop, he set out to drive his taxi. Although Naveen had encountered these three killers on the way, they didn't take his life. But here the three of them tell Naveen, "We took money from your wife and her boyfriend and promised them that we would kill you and send them a photo of your dead body. So to get the rest of the money from them, we need to send a photo of your fake death." After that, two of the killers bring tomato ketchup from a shop, and they tell Naveen to lie down on the ground. They then put ketchup all over his face, neck, and some on his clothes as well. Naveen pretends to be dead, and the killers take 2 or 3 photos of his body from a distance. From afar, the ketchup looked exactly like blood in the photos. Later, at midnight, the 3 killers send a few photos to Anupalavi and Himavant on WhatsApp. In addition, the killers tell them we slit Naveen's throat and killed him to make sure his body can't be identified. We completely disfigured his face. Now we're going to dump his dead body somewhere far away. And even if someone finds it in the future, it will be nearly impossible to identify whose body it is. However, after seeing the picture, Himavant feels very disturbed and uncomfortable because the visuals were so grisly. On the other hand, Anupallavi was overjoyed to see the condition of her husband and slept peacefully, while Himavant couldn't sleep that entire night. The next day, Nagaraja, Harish, and Mugalan also went to Anupallavi's house and collected the remaining 110,000 rupees from the contract. After that, Anupallavi started pretending to search for her husband Naveen out of fear of being caught. Anupallavi didn't file a missing persons report for Naveen at the police station. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Naveen, heartbroken by the betrayal from his beloved wife, didn't want to go back home. So he decided that he wouldn't return and would live alone in another state. Naveen wandered from city to city, but eventually he realized that he couldn't run from his family and relatives forever. He also had 2 children, so he felt he should confront the truth and face his wife. With all this in mind, Naveen went home on the evening of August 6th. When Anupallavi saw him alive, she was completely shocked. She couldn't believe that the man she saw in the photo of the dead body was now standing in front of her alive. Hearing the whole story, the police arrested Anupallavi and began searching for the 3 hitmen, who were also arrested a few days later. When the police asked Anupallavi about Himavant, she shared another small story. It turns out that since the moment Himavant saw the photo of Naveen's dead body, he had been deeply disturbed. In fact, Himavant was now regretting that he had ruined a family and caused the murder of an honorable man because of his love. While thinking about all this, Himavant began to fear that when Naveen's relatives would file a missing persons report with the police would investigate and uncover their lie. Because of this, both Himavant and Anupallavi would have to go to jail, which would bring disgrace to his family and society. This fear of going to jail started to consuming Himavant, causing anxiety that gnawed at him day by day. This is why 8 days after Naveen's disappearance and 1 day before officially filing a police complaint, he took his own life. Hearing this, everyone began to think that Himavant had received punishment for his misdeeds. However, when the police conducted further investigation into the case, they discovered that Anupallavi's mother Amajama also knew about Anupallavi and Himavant's relationship and Naveen's murder. Since Anupallavi's mother supported her despite knowing all this, the police arrested her as well. The police then gathered all witnesses and evidence to file the case and began preparing the charge sheet. In the meantime, Naveen went to the police station and said, "I want to withdraw this case because I love my wife very much and I cannot bear to see her behind bars. I also have 2 children, and it is crucial for Anupallavi to be there for their upbringing." Additionally, Naveen requested, "I also urge you to release the 3 killers and Anupallavi's mother." However, the police responded, "Naveen, we have already registered the case, and now any decision will be made in court." Now, if Naveen maintains the same statement in court, everyone might be able to go free anyway. What are your thoughts on this case? Please let us know in the comment box. So, with that, the Naveen Kumar case comes to an end right here. And with that, we've discussed another twisted case, which you can watch by tapping the video displayed on the screen.